Hi everyone, my name is Dee Russo, also known as Deja, and today I am going to be doing a monthly reset. Just like in February, I feel like March just came and went like so fast. I distinctly remember the first week and then maybe 2 days in the middle, and now the ending. I literally just don't know where this month went. And so, if that's any indication on how my goals went in March, it didn't go that well. But since March has already come and gone, because it is currently April 1st, I figured I'm just gonna briefly go over March and just the last quarter, and then I'll get into my April kind of goals because I'm super excited for this next quarter. I have big goals and I'm trying to figure out better plans on how to give myself more discipline to actually reach the goals that I have for myself. So let's get into just the March stats. I had planned to post at least 4 videos in the month of March, and I only ended up putting out 3, I'm pretty sure. This video was actually supposed to be out last week, but I didn't want to rush myself because it was Easter weekend, and then it was also, what is it? My niece's birthday is also coming up, and then I just didn't plan out my time accordingly to really get this done. Plus, I feel like it was taking me a little bit longer because I was also doing a reflection on just the entire quarter. So I'm not gonna really fault myself for that. I'm happy that I got 3 videos out anyway. I actually did haul a book, and that is the Blueprint. This is one of the new releases, and I wasn't going to get this one. I was really trying not to buy any more books, but this was $2 at my library. So I was like, of course I have to get it just in case I really love it. And it's giving me the vibes that I would really like it because it's like The Handmaid's Tale, but I think with a Black person. And I was really surprised by how much I liked Womb City. This, I don't think, is going to be more like Womb City. I think this one is going to follow the character focus aspects of The Handmaid's Tale. So I'm excited to try this. Hopefully I can get to this one soon. That was the only book that I hauled in March. I didn't even get any digital copies either. I guess I got a few NetGalley arcs, actually a lot of NetGalley arcs, but I'm not going to start counting those until April because I just didn't even think that through. So I'm going to count those going forward. In terms of unhauls, I still have not unhauled any of the books that I said I'm going to get rid of. It really just requires me going to the library and just dropping them off. But the problem is they're at specific times, and of course it's in the middle of the day when I'm at work. So that is still to be determined when I'm going to actually unhaul those. But I did end up updating my own book listing, and I didn't actually read any books that I owned in the month of March. I mean, I read my NetGalley arc, but again, I'm not really counting those until April. So yeah, I definitely didn't make any progress towards reading down my physical or my digital TBR. In the month of March, I actually ended up reading 6 books and I DNF'd 2. So not the best nor the worst that I could have done. I think the best that I've ever read in 1 month is 11 books, and I don't know, I think January is going to top how many books I DNF in that month just because that was 8 books. Now I just want to briefly go into just my March lows and highs. And like always, I want to start with my lows. So I think I mentioned in a previous reset that one of my goals, or just my theme for this year, is just to be centered. And I feel like I was not centered at all in March. I feel like I was still out of it. I don't remember pretty much anything about March, which is crazy to me. And so I'm trying to get more grounded and centered, but my eating was out of control. I fell off really hard on my exercise. I didn't even go to my boxing classes, and that's only 1 time a week. And my writing definitely fell off, and honestly my cleaning as well. I feel like I'm just now starting to get back into just the groove of the routines and stuff that I had for myself. So that was definitely a low for March. In terms of my highs, I streamed every single Monday in March, which was definitely a new experience for me. I don't think that going forward I would do a stream right after I get off of work because that had me so tired. Oh my gosh, so tired. But I had an amazing time just meeting new people and just doing productivity sprints. And those were the only things that actually kept me consistent with my writing. So I was super happy with that. The next high that I have is just this job process that I'm going through. I mentioned that I wanted to apply to multiple jobs per week. And one of the jobs that I applied to, I had like 3 or so interviews with them. One was just like a phone interview and the other two were virtual. And now I'm just getting into like the last nitty gritty details. Regardless of the outcome of this specific job that I applied for, I'm just super happy that I got this far because I think it just provided the validation that I needed, that I am way more qualified than the job position that I currently have. I think the job position that I currently have, while I don't mind the organization and I don't mind where they're like headed or anything like that, I think that the specific position that I'm in, I just feel stuck and I feel like I could be doing way more. And I know that I have done way more. And so just the fact that I have 3 interviews with this company and also just seeing like how my work and how my work in the past has really just like can show up in this job, like I was just like, I definitely could do this. So it definitely just gave me that validation. But that is all I wanted to talk about for March. I'm going to be going into just like the entire quarter, just like reviewing all of that. January, I think, was definitely my best month in terms of just like my mood. And I think that was just because like the new year high. But I also feel like I was more patient with myself because I was getting more situated into the year. So a lot of the goals that I had weren't really like too out there. Whereas I feel like March and February, I feel like they were okay, but like I was getting away from like my initial goals of what I wanted, which was to feel like more centered and get more focused on like my writing and just make me feel centered in like what I actually want to do and just putting in processes and stuff that will help me get to that point. And I think because I was just so out of it in terms of just like my mind space, like I don't think that happened at all. But that being said, I do want to focus on the journey of completing my goals. I feel like when I focus on habits and doing that instead of focusing on the outcome, I am able to get a lot more done. Like when I was doing like my writing tracking last year, just keeping track of like how long I took to like do something, I feel like that helped me to see that I am working towards something. And even if I'm not completing it by the deadline that I wanted, it's just because I had extra life things happening at the time that I couldn't allow for more time to be doing that. Like right now I'm in revisions, and so it's going to take me way longer than I expected. And I should have known this because I love revisions and I am a perfectionist. So it's going to take me so much longer to go over everything in this draft to make sure that like I like the sentence structure, that like the plot is making sense to me, and that it's a story that I even want to read. So that's just like one of the examples of just how I'm going to try to focus on this, like my routines and processes going forward, because yeah, that is really like my main goal of being centered. Like I really just want to get back into those routines and all of those that just make me feel like me, like doing my yoga, doing my meditation, doing like my reading. Like I really want to get back into these healthy habits that make me feel better as a person and just not as stressed and overwhelmed. But let's go over some stats for the entire quarter. My goal for the last 3 months was to post at least 10 videos. I did 8 videos. I was so close. And if I would have stuck to my schedule, I would have made this, like surpassed it. But like I said, nothing I can do to change that. But I'm so happy with 8 videos being posted to my channel. I also did not spend that much on books. I only spent $20.52 on books, and I count that as a win. I'm not really on like a no buy year or anything like that. I don't really buy books in general either, so I just want to start keeping track of how much I do spend on books. So I got 4 books in the last 3 months and only spent $20.52. Sounds like a win to me. This year, I also really wanted to focus on reading books that I own, and I have not been doing that well at all. I have only tried to read 4 of my own books, and they were all digital, and I DNF'd all of them. I have not reached for a physical copy of my books, and those are the ones that I really need to get down because there's a chance that I will be moving very soon. In terms of NetGalley, since I will be starting to just keep track of those numbers, I was approved for 18 titles. I have reviewed 2 of them already. One of them was a DNF, and the other one was just like a children's cookbook called the Juneteenth Cookbook, which I thought was super cute. I do want to get a copy so I can like make the recipes with like my niece and nephew when they're older, but I really liked it. But those are the 2 NetGalley arcs that I have actually reviewed. I still have to review, I think, 2 other ones that I have read, so I'm slowly getting down to those as well. But I definitely want to stay on top of those NetGalley arcs because I know that that can get really stressful and I can get really behind on that super fast. And to end this video, let me just say a few stats that I have. In total, I read 16 books and I DNF'd 12. So not terrible, but I'm definitely gonna have to start doing like a quarterly like DNF wrap up because there's no way I'm gonna wait until the end of the year to do like, what is 12 times for 48 books? I'm not doing 48 books in one video, so I'm gonna have to do a quarterly DNF wrap up. Out of the ones that I have read 1 picture book, 1 general fiction, 1 literary classic, 3 mangas, 1 historical romance, 1 graphic novel, 6 science fiction fantasies, and 1 contemporary romance. I'm definitely into science fiction fantasy right now. That's pretty much like all I've been really interested in these last few days. Even the contemporary romance that I read, like I just finished that like a few days ago and I just wasn't in the mood, so it just kept taking me longer and longer to read it. So yeah, definitely going to be seeing a lot more science fiction and fantasy just on my wrap-ups and stuff. And the last stats that I have, because I don't want to get into star ratings and everything, because first of all, I have not like written a review for like every single book that I've read so far, and that is a long process because yeah, I need to catch up on that too. But just the last stats that I have is just like the format of the books that I read. So I actually only read 2 ebooks, which is very surprising to me because I feel like I reach for ebooks a lot. And I've read 4 audiobooks, which is also very surprising to me because I feel like I consume audiobooks way faster. But I think because I'm in a fantasy mood, like I haven't really been called to audiobooks because I love reading fantasy as opposed to listening to it. And so that brings me to just the rest of the books that I read in a print format, and that is 10 books, which is very high in my opinion, but very happy about that as well. But that wraps up all of the stats and stuff that I have for the last quarter and just like my March monthly reset. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!